Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So today's lesson will be about Noon Sakina. You see, Noon Sakin is a very controversial figure in Tajweed, and there are certain nuances that Noon Sakina has. He's never constant. He's a diplomat. He changes his face, and uh, it totally depends on who he's interacting with. Um, how he's gonna manifest himself. He's a pretty volatile personality. So, whenever you come across Noon Sakina in a Mus'haf, then you really have to wreck your mind now, how is this Noon Sakina going to behave? So, this lesson, which we are starting today, and it will go on for like a couple of weeks, hopefully 2 weeks, not very long. So, let's learn about the diplomacies of Noon Sakina. So, can you please find out Noon Sakina in the first line? Is there any Noon Sakin in the first line?
Yeah, there's a ma'akum noon sukoon and then qabli.
All right, let me mark it here,
Yeah.
here, anywhere else. Okay, let's move to line number 2. Nothing?
No.
Line 3?
Mm. Yaghfiru an yush. There's a yeah. Yes.
4, line number
Or liman yasha. Yeah.
4.
Wa man. There's a noon second on man.
Yes. Okay, line number 5.
Man.
Anfusahum.
Oh yeah. So,
Where's Anfusahum? I can't find it. Which line?
number 5.
All right.
And then may yasha'u.
All right.
And then on zur, number 6 on zur,
All
noon
right.
second. That's it,
And I
guess.
think we're done. All right. So these are the visible noon sakinas. Then there are some sounds of noon sakina which are hidden. Make a guess. Where would that appear? Like you hear the sukoon sound, but you can't really see it visibly, but it is there. Where would that be? Yes, musaddiqan. So in the tanweens. Now,
Tanween.
starting from line number 1, let's mark all the tanweens. Fathatain, kasratain, dhammatains.
Okay. Musaddiqan.
Mm-hmm.
And then wujuhan.
Mm-hmm. Line number 2.
I don't see any.
Okay, 3.
Magfu, maf'ulan.
Mm-hmm. 4.
Isman.
5.
And aziman also next to it.
Nothing.
No.
5, 6.
Kal
All
fatilan.
right. Okay, thank you all for your participation. Now, all these highlighted parts are going to give you a hard time. They should make you think, now, what am I going to do here? How will I say the noon sound? So basically, there are 4 different ways you can take out the sound of noon. We will just do one for today. And that rule is called the rule of Izhar. The rule of Izhar. Does anyone know what Izhar means in English?
Clarity.
clarity, izhar, to express. Sometimes you say, you should do izhar of your love for her, express it. So it's visible. Yes, so you're right. To make something visible, express something clearly. Okay, so I will tell you a practical way of doing izhar. A practical way would be, and a practical definition of making something clear, a sound clear, would be to take it out from its theoretical makhraj. Like, what does the book of Tajweed say? Where does the sound of noon come out from? Which part of the tongue has to touch which part of the mouth to take out the sound of noon?
Is it the nasal?
Nasal is one part of noon, but what is happening in your mouth? But it's a very good point. Noon has basically two body parts involved. The what is happening in your mouth is one part, and what is happening in your nose is the second component. So yes, nasal is one part. Good. What is happening in the mouth? Okay, Amna is saying tip of the tongue. It touches. Where does it touch to express the sound of noon? Un, un.
And and top palate?
Exactly. Top palate, and can we say just behind the top teeth?
Yeah.
Un. All right. So remember, for any sound to come out, two surfaces must come in contact. Like when I want to clap, two hands must come together. That's why there's a proverb, the clap never happens with one hand. Like two people must be involved to make this bang. All right, to take the sound of noon out, you must touch the tip of your tongue behind the top teeth. So when you do this, this is called izhar. So when you say un and you're touching the tip of your tongue up on the roof, this is called izhar. And but remember I told you noon behaves differently with different letters. So does anyone know what are the group of letters with which noon does izhar? Like
The
it's
throat
doing
letter?
its exactly good. So there are six throat letters. What are those?
Hamza, a, ha,
Ha,
I, ain, kho,
Ain, Ha, and
ghain, kho.
very good. I like to go in this order because this is the order in which they are physically present in the throat. Like if you start from the bottom of the throat, it's Hamza Ha from the very bottom of the throat. And then in the middle of the throat, Ain Ha. And if you go higher, Ghain Kha. So A, Ha, A, Ha, Gha, Kha. You can, if just by hearing my voice, you can feel the articulation points going higher physically. A, ha, a, ha, gha, kha. So these six sounds, the noon stays how it is. And you know what could be the reason? Hmm. Why do you think the noon does not feel the need to change? I'll give you a hint. Noon's makhraj lies in the very front of the mouth, and these six letters are in the throat. Do you think they will be interfering with each other?
No.
No, because what is happening in the mouth for noon is very far away from what is happening in the throat. So it's like, relatives who are living far away from you don't affect you much compared to relatives who are living in the neighborhood. So they will have some effect on you. So Noon Sakina is very, very far away from these throat letters. And so Noon Sakina has no problem being itself. So for Izhar to happen, Noon Sakina must be sitting next to any of these six letters. Now let's look at the highlights and see if any of these six letters are coming after our highlighted Noon Sukoons. in line number 1?
No.
Line number 2? We don't have anything. 3?
No.
Sure.
Mm,
Yes, the ayah is finishing. Oops, the ayah is finishing over here. But what if I decide to continue? Then what would you say?
okay, yeah. Then there's
So we have,
ah,
what letter is this?
Hamza.
Yes, so it is one of the 6 throat letters.
Okay.
All right, line number 4. Linsha is saying, Isman Azima. All right, awesome. What about, okay. Also, do you think we should consider this as those noon sukoons which have throat letters next to them?
If we continue as you
Good.
said in the
Yes. Anything else? What about the last line?
Mm,
What about the last line? I'm glad we got this example on the page. It will make you think. What do you
uh,
think about this? Does
Kali.
it have a throat letter next to it?
No.
All right. Okay. That's understandable because maybe you don't know about Hamzatul Wasl. Um, actually, you're right. Maybe you do know better than me. Okay, so you don't see any haraka on this alif. This Hamzatul Wasl only takes a haraka when it's read separately. So if I was to read this separately, I would read it as, make a guess. Would it be anzur or inzur or unzur?
Uh,
Maybe you don't know the rule, but what looks more
yeah,
feasible?
yeah. I don't know the rule, but I always get confused with the like the third. You take the third
Yes.
letters on it.
Okay, barakallahu feek. I know you know the concept, maybe you've forgotten it. So the third
Yeah.
letter decides what's going to be the haraka on Hamzatul Wasl. So if there's a dhamma, in this case, let's stick to this word. We have dhamma on the third letter, which is dha. So we'll put dhamma on Hamzatul Wasl. So if I was reading it separately, I would read it unzur. Now the thing is, if I was continuing the ayah, only then I would consider this noon sakin followed by Hamza. But if I was continuing it, I would drop the Hamzatul Wasal and it wouldn't even apply. So yes, you guys are correct not to mention this. This will not be included in Izhar. Okay, so we have two examples, Alhamdulillah. So, Humaira, can you read it for us? How would you read the first example? For example, we were continuing the ayah.
Okay. Maf'ulan inna.
Excellent. So, what did you do with this noon sound? What did you do, or you didn't do anything?
Yeah, we don't have to hide it. We have to make it clear the way it is sound.
Barakallahu fi. And how would you read the second example?
Isman aziman. Aziman.
Oh, by the way, we have two here, right?
Okay, yeah. So isman aziman alam tara.
Very good. So this is the simplest noon. This is the simplest rule of noon, sakina, and tanween. So let me just rephrase the rule once. So whenever you have noon sakina followed by any of the throat letters, you will express the sound of noon. You will do izhar. In fact, you will not do anything different. You will just say noon sakina sound as you have always learned since childhood. Nothing special. As for the other highlighted parts, we'll do next week, one by one, what will happen to them. So today we did the rule of Izhar. So Humaira, would you repeat for everyone what is the rule of Izhar?
Yeah, the rule of Izhar is Izhar means clarity. Um, if we see Noon Sakin or Tanween, followed by Hamza Ha, Ain Ha, Ghain Kha, we make the sound clear and we don't hide anything.
Okay, so it's very important to clarify what are we going to make clear? The sound of what?
The sound of Noon.
No, yes. Well done, Barakallahu Feek. The call is about to finish, and we're pretty much done with our lesson. And I'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum